Democrats were never going to emerge from this year's midterms unscathed. A red wave was supposed to sweep opposition Republicans to majorities in both houses of Congress. Instead, the ruling party was able to stem the bleeding, and as votes came in, President Joe Biden had a pep in his step.
While the press and the pundits are predicting a giant red wave, it didn't happen. Democrats had a strong night, and we lost fewer seats in the House of Representatives than any Democratic president's first midterm election in the last 40 years. And we had the best midterm for governors since 1986.
Biden's Democrats are on track to lose the House of Representatives, but by a thinner than expected margin. Control of the other side of the Capitol is still up for grabs as Georgia heads for a runoff for its second seat in the Senate. Should Democrats win there, the White House will be able to work with just one chamber standing in its way instead of two. And voters are clear on what should be on top of Biden's priorities.
Over the last 2 years, our grocery bill has risen from $400 a month to about $1,200 right now. Yeah, our kids have gotten a little older, and my brother moved in, so there's other variables, but that's been a big thing for us, and I have coworkers who their bill is doubled as well. So inflation is a huge issue, and then some of the more local issues regarding schools, education, those are some other big issues as well.
Of course, inflation, the economy, prices are horrendous. I thought I was going to be able to retire this year, and I'm going to have to wait another year. So it's bad.
On that front, signs of relief for consumers are already emerging. U.S. inflation slowed more than expected in October, sending financial markets soaring. And if that continues, President Biden and the Democrats should get a boost as they prepare to defend the White House in 2024. Paolo Montecillo, TRT World.
Well, for more on this, Taha Arvas joins us now in the studio. He's an economist and adjunct professor of finance at Bogazici University here in Istanbul. Good to have you back with us as always, Taha. Now, the so-called red wave that many analysts had predicted hasn't really come to bear, but the Republicans could still clinch the lower house, the House of Representatives, as we know. How might that affect the Biden agenda going forward?
So if the House of Representatives flips to the Republicans, which it appears to be doing, then essentially Congress flips, right? So that will allow the Republicans to slow, in fact, stop legislation from passing through the Congress, even though obviously the White House is in the hands of the Democrats. If they can't get bills passed in the House of Representatives, even if they retain the Senate, which it looks, it's a 50-50 chance right now. We'll probably know on Saturday or Sunday coming up here if they retain the Senate. But this is going to set up other situations, other problems for the president. So it would have been good for him if he had retained both houses, let's put it that way.
Yes, because as it stands, the Democrats currently control both houses. It controls the Senate with a razor-thin majority of the vice president's casting vote. But that has allowed the Democrats to really push through huge spending bills. I mean, if you think back to the more than $1 trillion that it spent during the lockdowns, but it also more recently passed the Inflation Reduction Act. Does that mean the days of the Democrats, I guess, huge spending measures are over?
Yes and no. The good news for Biden is this isn't uncharted territory. Every president in the modern era has lost a majority of, if they came into the presidency with both the Senate and the House, they lose it after their first midterm election. So Biden isn't an exception here. The question is, can he navigate it successfully? Well, Republicans are looking to win the presidency in 2 years, so they need to also make sure that that their electorate is happy. So will they be as hardcore on spending as they have been in the past? I don't think they will be. We're in the midst of a recession, or we're about to begin entering a recession, so I think the Republicans will be less likely to rein in spending as they've announced that they would be, but we'll see in the coming weeks here.
That's right. We just heard that the Eurozone is predicting that its economy will enter the recession by the end of the year. The US has managed to dodge it somewhat so far, but do you expect that any new Congress or indeed a new president will still have to contend with perhaps slower growth?
I do, frankly, and the reason is because people, I think, are reading too much into this very small dip in inflation that we've seen here a couple days ago with the CPI report. Yes, inflation is down, but it's only down to, I mean, it's still down to 7.7%. We're so far away from the 2% target that the Fed has repeated that it would stick to, that what we're seeing is, and the Fed has said itself, we're not going to, one good report does not a pattern make. And so they will continue, I believe, to increase interest rates, and that's going to almost certainly signal a recession in the new year.
Taha Arvas, a pleasure as always. Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you.